Welcome to this edition of Speaking of Settlements. I'm Scott Drake, and my guest today is the regular host of Speaking of Settlements, Mark Wallstrom. Mark, welcome back.
Scott, great to be here, and thanks for hosting this so I don't have to do a monologue today.
Well, we'll give you enough time to speak for sure. Energy prices continue to rise higher than historical averages. This results in oil and gas explorers offering lease payments to landowners for the right to drill on their land. During these negotiations, oil and gas explorers offer an immediate bonus to landowners in addition to regular lease payments as kind of an incentive to lease the land. Now, this bonus can sometimes cause tax problems. And Allstate has actually come up with a product that could handle this. Can you talk about it?
Yeah, Scott, it's really interesting, and I think this is something that we're going to see a lot of interest in. Allstate has always been one of the innovators in the area of taxable damage awards and non-qualified structures. In other words, the ability to spread payments out over a period of time, whether they're taxable or non-taxable. And Allstate, through its Allstate International Assignment subsidiary, has always been a real innovator. I mean, not only taxable damages, not only structured legal fees, but structured sales of property, celebrity endorsements that can be structured over time, divorce cases, and now this latest innovation, which is in the area of oil and gas lease bonus payments. Something that may seem obscure, but to the people who are in that particular market and are getting those bonus payments, this ability to spread those out over a period of years is going to be really important.
So again, with these bonuses, this particular product from Allstate can defer the tax liability. Can you explain that?
Right, and again, this is kind of tied to, so many of these things are tied to economic cycles. Structured sales were geared around the sale of appreciated commercial and residential real estate, people who wanted to defer their capital gains over a period of years. With the decline of the real estate market, or the collapse of the real estate market, that particular market is not really robust. But with the increase in oil prices, gas prices, and the number of people in the United States who are leasing land to oil companies, these leases are designed so that they get a certain base price or a certain set land fee, but they also have bonuses written into them. And these bonuses are, if the price of oil or the price of gas goes up beyond a certain trigger point, they get a large lump sum payment during that year. And these people may not necessarily want that as ordinary income in that year. They may want to spread it out over time, to income average this award and move it into a lower tax bracket, or maybe move it even further into the future when the well is depleted, or they're not necessarily going to be leasing the property any further. So from a financial planning and tax planning standpoint, I think this is going to be extremely interesting to people who have a property that they do lease and on which they are currently collecting royalties.
Now, how does the recent revenue ruling play a part here?
Well, I'm not going to speak necessarily about the revenue ruling itself. I'm going to have, I anticipate having Dan Durbin or someone else from Allstate Structured Settlements on in the next week or so to really discuss that in detail and explain how they got the revenue ruling and how it works and why it's important. But the ruling itself, which is ruling 68-606, and we'll have a copy of it on our website at Wallstrom & Associates and also on Speaking of Settlements. What's important about it is that most of these innovative structured products don't come out with a revenue ruling. They may be hinged upon an opinion letter. A revenue ruling really is, it's one step below codification in the tax code. So it gives people a greater sense of security that if they do enter into this, that they've got sound legal and tax law basis for doing it. And I think that's going to provide real growth and comfort in this area to people who do want to investigate spreading out these gains over a period of time.
Well, Mark, it sounds great. Where can people find out more about it?
Well, they can always find it by coming to my website at Wallstrom & Associates. My firm, as you know, Scott, is one of the leaders in the country in taxable damage cases and in structuring property sales, divorce cases, anything that would be considered a non-qualified or tax-deferred settlement using these type of funding arrangements. I don't think anyone in the country does more of them than we do, or, all modesty aside, knows more about them than we do. So you can always come to our site at wallströmassociates.com, but you can also go to Allstate. If you want to learn more about it, learn more about how the product works, look at the forms, read the revenue ruling, just go to allstateinternationalassignments.com. That's Allstate International Assignments. That's their subsidiary that handles all of this. Just type it into Google, it'll come up. Most, if not all, of the information you need is right there. And you can always contact Allstate directly, or if you do want to discuss it, you can contact my office as well.
All right, Mark, thank you.
Thanks, Scott. Pleasure talking to you today. And as I mentioned, we'll probably have someone from Allstate on next week or the week after that to tell more about this particular product.
I'm Scott Drake, and you're watching Speaking of Settlements.